Hello friends, welcome once again to Rick's Garage. What you see is the field behind my house. I just finished mowing it with my Cadet tractor. A few weeks ago I posted a video on one of the front wheels of this tractor because it was losing air overnight. We sealed the bead and reinstalled it, and it's not been too bad. It lost about 4 pounds over the last 3 weeks, which isn't terrible for one of these type of tires. But I decided to go ahead and install an inner tube. That's what this video is about, installing an inner tube on a lawn tractor. See, I've already brought the tractor in the garage and removed the front wheel. Just got to pop off that center cap and remove a cotter pin. This is the tire that we repaired last time. The problem with these wheels, they're not like a passenger car tire. These have a maximum of 14 pounds. A passenger car tire can have up to between 30 and 40 pounds. So you have a lot more pressure sealing the beads on a tubeless tire. Also, a passenger car is a lot heavier. They weigh maybe 2,000–3,000 pounds. So you have a lot of weight and you have a lot of air pressure keeping this bead sealed. Well, on a lawn tractor, you're only dealing with 14 pounds to begin with, and the lawn tractor is very light, so you don't have a lot going for you in keeping this bead sealed. If any of you have had a lawn tractor for any length of time, or a wheelbarrow, or say a cart, you wind up after a while having to put in an inner tube. So I decided it'd be fun to go ahead and try to put an inner tube in it now. So the first thing to consider is make sure you order the correct tube. You can't see this on camera, but right on the tire it's clearly marked 15 by 6.00-6. The other thing is, when you're dealing with a lawn tractor tire, for the most part you want to get an inner tube that has a straight stem, straight out. Some of these tubes come with a curved stem. Those are mostly for a wheelbarrow. The wheelbarrow, because of the two pieces of wood that come out to connect the tire, you need a curved stem. These are some of the tools you'll be needing. I've got some tire spoons. I've got a core removal tool. And this screws into your stem and will prevent it from slipping back into the rim. All these are available at places like AutoZone. If you don't want to buy these, you can use screwdrivers. But you need something to prevent that stem from slipping back into the rim when you're working with it, and you need something to remove that core. So the first thing we're going to do here is remove the core and let the air out of the tire. You can see there wasn't a huge amount of air in it to begin with. Now, last time I was able to break the bead just simply by pressing down on it, but that was kind of a lucky circumstance. Usually you can't get away that easily, so I'm going to show you what to do. What I've done here is I've placed the tire on the floor next to one of the lally columns. And I'm going to use the lally column to balance myself so I don't fall. And I'm going to stand on the tire to break the bead. Let's see how this works out. It was actually that easy. Hopefully it'll be that easy for you, but just make sure you have something to hold on to so you don't fall. So now I'm going to spray some soapy water on it, just to give it a little bit of lubrication on both sides. Okay, so we're going to insert one of the spoons and pry the tire up. And then we're going to take and insert another spoon and do the same thing. There we go. Now we're going to take a third spoon, try it again on the other side. Sorry, I'm blocking your view. Okay, and you can see the other spoons have started to come out, so we're working it around. Let's insert another spoon right here, and look, it's already out. So now that you've got the top part of the bead out, we got to get the bottom out if we want to take the tire out completely. I don't think it's necessary to do that, but I just want to show you that in case you're changing a tire. So we'll put a little extra lubrication, and we'll put one of our spoons in there and just force that tire right off. There it comes. There we go. Pull it right out. So we've got the rim completely off the tire now. Here is the reason the tire was leaking. See, the paint had come off the rim. And here, and we tried to seal it, and we did a fairly decent job. We turned it into a very slow leak. I don't want to try to seal it again, and I'm not going to try to repaint this rim. I'm just going to go ahead and install that inner tube. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and cut off our stem without cutting yourself. Trying to give you a good view and trying not to cut myself at the same time. So, yeah, there we go. Alright, so we got that stem out of there. Hopefully you saw that. Now we're going to prepare the inner tube. It's kind of hard to tell at this point which way is up for the stem. You notice that on your rim, you've got to have the stem facing this direction when you install it. If you go the other way, you're not going to be able to get it through the hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly inflate it to make sure I know which way this stem is facing, so I know how to orientate it to the rim. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and pump just a little bit of air into the inner tube just to check it out. Okay. So, see how deceiving that was? Now it looked to all the world like the stem was facing up this way, but it's actually facing the other way. So this is how you're going to install the inner tube, with the stem facing upward. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little X right here with my crayon, so I'll know that this is how the inner tube is installed. I'm going to go ahead and remove the core and deflate it. So now I'm ready to push the tire back on the rim, which you've seen. I fashioned a piece of wood here to push up against the back of the bench to hold the rim in place while I try to push the tire back on. Let's see how this goes. There, that wasn't too bad. So that was helpful, having that little piece of wood there so that the rim wouldn't slide all over the place. So now comes the fun part, trying to stuff the inner tube into the tire. If you've ever tried to do this, it can be a real pain. So what I've done to make it a little bit easier, I've taken a couple of blocks and put it on each side of the tire. I'm going to lift the tire up, put one block onto one side, the other block on the other side. So let's see how this goes. Actually, it's not that bad doing it this way. Okay. And I'm going to remove my little blocks. And we're going to try to get that stem into that hole. And it looks like it's going in quite easily. So now we're going to take this tool I showed you earlier and attempt to screw it into the stem so that we don't lose it when we're working on the tire. Here we go, we're screwing that right in. And now that we've got a hold of that, there's no possibility of losing it. So let's just get it out of the way. So now we're ready to put the front side of the tire back on. We're going to lube it up, of course. And there's a little trick that you may have seen. It's called the vice grip trick. What's going to happen is, as we're trying to install this tire onto the rim, the tire is going to keep slipping around as we're trying to push it on. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a pair of vice grips. And we're going to take the vice grip and we're going to clamp it onto the rim, just to keep the tire from slipping around on us as we're trying to mount it. So let me get that out of the way. We'll take our pair of vice grips and we'll clip it right onto the rim. I've moved this down to the floor because you're going to need to use your knee to press down the opposite end that you're trying to pry on. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm putting my knee here. And then holding this down, that'll help you in getting the other side on. You can see how much easier that works. There, we got that much on. We're going to move our knee over a little further. Okay, so we're going to put our knee back on it. And we're going to pry it some more. Yeah, we're almost in. This end will just push right on, I think. Let's get that out of our way. Put our knee back on it. And there it is. It's mounted. You remove your vice grip. So as easy as that, but you really need to put your knee on it to press it down into that recessed area, which allows you an easier time forcing the tire onto the rim. So I'm back on the bench and I've already removed the stem tool. I'm going to try to reinstall the core without losing the stem back into the tire. If we go ahead and lose the stem back into the tire, then we're going to have to start all over again. So I'm going to carefully insert this core. Make sure, oops, see, it almost slipped back in. So you got to be careful of that. Okay, so now we're going to inflate the tire. £15, that's all it takes. And we're done. The tire is inflated to its 15 pounds. It's supposed to be 14, but I usually put it in 15. And the rim is well sealed. The tire is sealed on the rim. We've got our inner tube installed. I'm going to put the cap on it and we're done. So I hope it was helpful if you ever want to install an inner tube in your lawn tractor. So I want to thank you once again for watching Rick's Garage, and hopefully we'll see you again sometime.